This project has gone on a while. It started back in 2019, and so, yeah, right? To give you a little history, so SuperShot, we're a nonprofit that provides immunizations in the community, and we're over 30 years old, but we've never had our own clinic space. We are always gifted space by a community partner, and when that space was needed for something else, we literally took our Rubbermaid totes and moved to the new donated clinic space. And so that had been going on for the last 30 years, and in 2019, Parkview was like, okay, we probably, I know we've been doing this for 30 years, but maybe we need to look at something else because we are going to be moved within the Parkview's Carew building. It's going to be 3 times in 2 years. And so they walked us over here and we looked at this space that had been sitting vacant, and they said, well, what if we gifted you a building? And we were like, hey, you know, that sounds amazing. But we're a really small nonprofit, and so we said, but we need a minute to make sure we can sustain the cost of ownership. So that was in November of 2019. We actually moved into the space with just sweat equity, cleaning the space, painting the space, and then our intent was to launch a fundraising campaign in 2020 to fundraise to take ownership of the building. And so COVID hit in March of 2020, so it kind of put a wrinkle in our fundraising plans, and also we provide vaccines, so we were on the front end of the response to COVID, to the pandemic. So you kind of walk through it. But we still wanted to forge ahead with our fundraising, and Elevatus was the first community partner that stepped up because we didn't even know how much we needed to fundraise for. We knew how much we wanted to have in the bank in case we need to replace a HVAC unit and things like that, capital improvements, but we didn't know how much a renovation would cost. And so we, your team, Elevatus, just sat down with us and really talked through it. Really listened to us. What did we want? What was our end goal all about? And even before the campaign started, helped us understand what we needed to budget for renovations. So that took a lot of work up front, right? To really get to a point where we could understand how much we needed to fundraise. And again, we were busy providing COVID vaccines, and so it was very, you know, we would pick the project up, and then there would be months I would go by and we'd go again. And so we worked through all of that. We raised approximately $2.2 million to take ownership of the building and for renovations. And we officially took ownership of the building from Parkview in 2022. And then we began renovations in 2023 and completed those in 2023. The gift that Elevatus gave to us for their design time and expertise, and just that was pro bono work that went on literally for years, and they walked alongside of us all of those years and didn't say, what in the world is happening with this project? They stuck with us. They understood that we were in the middle of the pandemic, that we were fundraising during the pandemic, and we were providing services during the pandemic. And they were a true partner. And so there's no words that can express how much gratitude we have for Elevatus, because our space really, our vision was to be able to provide services to the community, regardless of income level, that we're serving everybody with dignity and respect. SuperShot, you know, our tagline, the vaccine experts. And so we want people to come here and know that we are the experts on immunizations, but you need a physical space that supports that. So when we were working out of donated spaces and we didn't have routine, you know, clinical hours, that message doesn't support our tagline, the vaccine experts. Elevatus was supportive. That's all. I mean, in one word, being a partner and really helping us say, okay, when you say you want to serve everybody with dignity and respect, and you have a limited budget, what exactly does that mean? And they helped us define what that means. So we picked surface materials and interior finishes that worked with our budget, but yet felt updated and made the building feel fresh and new, and where anybody could walk in and feel like it was a reputable place that was providing quality services. I mean, for instance, we had metal. A metal facade was originally specified for the exterior of our building, but that was going to cost a lot of money, and so we said, okay, what are some other options? And your team worked through that. Okay, well, let's talk through that. And so in the end, we painted out all of the old wood. We painted it, but you helped us pick that paint color and get it right, you know? So there were just every detail. Elevatus had a hand in it, from our exterior fence color to our exterior paint to, okay, we need to make sure this is ADA accessible, you know, to the really important design elements, because we didn't have ADA compliant restrooms and exam rooms, and which way does a door need to swing and how much distance needs to be between this space and that. And so from all of those very technical details to the design, to color specifications, to materials that will last the test of time, that if we're going to invest in it, we're not going to have to replace them in a couple years. Everybody on the Elevatus team is just incredible humans with a heart for our community. So, I mean, they were right there wanting to make this, to improve our public health infrastructure for Allen County, because that's what this is. It really improved our whole community's public health infrastructure. SuperShot didn't have a permanent home. We didn't have a facility where we could be open 5 days a week, evening hours, weekend hours. They just really wanted to be a part of the solution, not only for SuperShot, but for our community. We renovated our building as a great big kind of square box where we have patient exam rooms on the north side and patient exam rooms on the south side. And then we have nurses' stations and restrooms on each side, on the north and the south side. So previously those exam rooms hadn't been touched in 30 years. They were the original, you know, from early 1980s, and they had curtains for, you know, for privacy, and carpeting. In a healthcare facility, carpeting isn't the greatest option, so we have all hard surfaces to keep them clean. And in the nurses' station, those areas were kind of disjointed closets and restrooms within the and we made them one large nurses' station, one on the north side and the south side, so vaccine can be stored right in the nurses' station, which really decreases the number of steps the nurses need to take and helps with productivity. And then we went on the south side, our vaccine storage. Vaccine storage is really important when it comes to you know, the efficacy of vaccines. So we really worked through that room to make sure that we could store all of our vaccine or in one room, and all of our pack out. We take a lot of what we do is out in the community too. So we have to pack vaccines out in medical grade coolers. And so vaccine pack out was all put into the same room, and then a full building backup generator was installed, which is huge. So if we lose power now, we don't have to pack all of the vaccine up and move it to another location. The backup generator will kick in and make sure the vaccines stay safe. It's hard to identify one favorite part. I'm just so proud that we have a permanent facility that feels clean and welcoming and family friendly. So, you know, we're here in the lobby and it's bright, it's cheery. We have art. We have art now, and we have just we have a patient sensory room. We have a sensory room where people can take as much time as they need to decompress before they get their immunization, and it has all of those tools like dimmable lights and bubble walls and things that people can play with, the kids can play with on the wall. And we just didn't have accommodations to really meet the needs of the community before, and now we do. So and I'm just proud of it because our staff didn't have one specific location to work out of. We're all working out of one location now, so it's really elevated, I would say, our staff's morale, and now the community knows where we are. We have one permanent location where we are here 5 days a week, and the community knows where to find us. When we sat down with the Elevatus team, and what was the goal? It was to make sure this was family friendly. We serve patients of all ages. We serve children and adults. So we didn't want it to be only pediatric focused. We wanted it to be appealing to our community members of all ages. And we wanted it to be, again, I know I've said clean a number of times, but when you're receiving healthcare services, it matters what the location feels like. And so we just really wanted it to be welcoming for kids and adults, to be clean, to be bright, and just a beautiful space where the community can come out and receive their immunizations regardless of income level, and to keep themselves and our entire community healthy. Our staff's vision, Elevatus's vision, is to treat everybody with dignity and respect. And now we have private exam rooms. Patients can go in and get their immunization in a private exam room that has new cabinetry and new flooring and signage. Before, when we would give immunizations, it could be out in a hall with no privacy at all. So there's private rooms where patients can get great care with our vaccine experts, with our immunizers, and we really are trying to move people through quickly. Before, we were a walk-in clinic only, and wait times could really vary. Sometimes you could get right in, but other times you could wait a good 2 hours. Now with this physical space, we've really been able to leverage technology. People can make appointments. They can either call us or make appointments online, and they can get in and out in 15 minutes. So we really are trying to improve the patient experience from the minute they pull into the parking lot to the minute they leave. There are a lot of things we didn't invest in because we didn't know if we would be in this space permanently. So I know it sounds so simple, but we have a huge, beautiful sign on the exterior of our building. For the last 30 years, we did not have a sign on the exterior of the buildings where we were, so it's something small like that, but it makes such a difference. The community needs to know where you are to come and get those services. I would absolutely recommend Elevatus to anybody out there looking to partner with an architectural firm that is really trying to listen to your needs, trying to come up with a solution that meets those needs. There's a lot of things that could have been done that would have been absolutely stunning, but we didn't have that budget. And so the team really worked with us and said, okay, well, this would give the same appeal and the same integrity, the quality, but if we looked at this option. And so Elevatus, like I said, they care about our community. They want it to be a place where there's beautiful spaces that serve the community and meet the needs of the community. And Super Shot, we couldn't be more thankful for them and their partnership through this process.